It seems like it hasn't been this bad, luckily in the past. And sometimes you told me that they'll open up a secondary track so that they can at least get traffic moving slowly around a train derailment. Is that going to be the case today, or is it annulment for all trains until this is cleaned up?
You know what? We are going to have to figure that out. Obviously, we need to make sure that if we do open up another track and start moving trains at restricted speed, we need to make sure that it is safe. So for right now, even though we really want to get our commuters to where they need to go, we need to stand back, let the team assess the situation, let us know what's safe, and as soon as we can start moving passengers, we will do so.
Okay, so we've talked at length about the impact on the commute, both train and driving commute. Martha, what can you tell us about what happened here, how this was caused, and are there any injuries?
I haven't heard of any injuries, so that's a really good thing. And as far as to what happened, that is right now being investigated. I don't know exactly what caused this derailment at this point.
Sorry, Anthony.
Okay, I was going to say, based on your experience, Martha, okay, you said this is a 9,000-foot train. I'm not sure how many train cars are off the track right now, but ballpark, can you hazard a guess as to how long the cleanup is going to play out? Is this something that can be cleaned up by the afternoon, or are we talking hours and hours here?
You know, it depends on what they find with the investigation. Obviously, they're going to have to go in there, and it's a lot of equipment to move. So I would definitely say a couple of hours. I would love to be able to say that it's not going to affect the evening rush, but at this point, I'm not quite sure. I would rather hear from the investigators on the scene and get a little more information before I make that statement.
Okay, Martha Hill with Metra, thank you so much for joining us and answering some of these questions. I know a lot of people use Southwest service. We do have our own Roseanne Tellez heading over to the scene right now to give us more of a look and do some more reporting there. Thank you, Martha, for your time.
Thank you.
Good Day Chicago at 7 starts now.
And we'll check in with Roseanne from the ground as soon as she arrives in Chicago Ridge with more on that major derailment. But right now at 7 as well, terrifying video in the search for Nancy Guthrie. You're looking at it right there as police detained and then released a person of interest in that disappearance.
Plus, a surprise that could cause huge travel headaches across the country, what the FAA is saying about a major airport shutdown.
And taking a live look outside, the melt continues as we see temperatures climb up. This is nice. It's a little mini early February heat wave as we thank you again for joining us here at 7:02 on your Wednesday morning. Difficult traffic situation in the southwest suburbs. Fortunately, hey, it's not difficult in the weather department.
That's right.
Your poll numbers are up. Like,
They are, yeah.
Thank you. No, January
I was starting not to like it.
January was tough. January, we were way down there in the approval rating. But we're staging a big comeback. Yesterday was so nice with those temperatures close to 50 degrees. It is not going to be as warm today, but I forecast this little bit of line at the car wash because this is a good time to get that salt off the car if you haven't done so already. Sunny start, 9 o'clock, 30 degrees. Plenty of sun at noon, 38. And then we'll be in the low 40s this afternoon. A few spots maybe a little warmer. Maybe parts northwest Indiana downwind of the lake. You'll have a few more clouds there and temperatures will be held back. But this is going to be nice. Now, you want the coat. It's only 26 now. We have a wind chill of 19. West winds are blowing at 6 miles per hour. But see that sunshine out there? You're going to enjoy it all day long. Temperature 29 at the lakefront, 26 Joliet, 25 Woodstock, and Kankakee. It's 26 in Valparaiso. Let's get a traffic update. Obviously, the big issue is right there, Anthony.
Yes, we just checked in with Martha from Metra. This happened just before 5 a.m. A major freight train derailment is causing an absolute mess in and around Chicago Ridge, Oak Lawn, that whole area right there. So if you use the Metra Southwest service, forget about it this morning. Completely forget about it. You are going to have to find a different way to get to work. You're urged to drive to another Metra line. None of the trains are going to be operating in or outbound on the Southwest line there this morning. Here's what we know about what happened. In terms of the cause, that's unknown. However, Fortunately, we are told no hazardous materials were involved here as emergency personnel remain on scene. They're working with railroad officials to kind of assess the entire situation. But we see a number of cars, at least a half dozen from each viewpoint, that are off the track there, 9,000 feet long. That's how long this freight train is. So there's an impact on vehicle traffic as well. So Ridgeland Avenue is closed down there right now. Central Avenue in that area between 107th and Pleasant Avenue. So motorists, should expect some significant delays and congestion. We do have a crew and a reporter. Roseanne is on her way to that scene to give us a look and an update from the ground. Okay, your other drive times, they're in the red right now. 45 minutes is your inbound ride from O'Hare to downtown. On the Eisenhower, you're at 46 minutes inbound from Route 390 to downtown. On the Stevenson, it's a 43-minute ride from I-355 to DuSable Lakeshore Drive. And on the Dan Ryan between 95th and downtown, you are at 30 minutes exactly. All right, some other breaking news this morning. Law enforcement in Arizona just released the person that they had briefly detained in connection to Nancy Guthrie's disappearance.
It feels kind of like a whiplash, a little all eyes on this. So some information for you. Law enforcement brought that person in for questioning following a traffic stop that happened on Tuesday. Investigators were also seen searching and taking away potential evidence from a property in Puerto Rico. Hours later, the detained person was then released. A man who claims he was that person detained is now speaking out about what happened in some new video.
You were apprehended for questioning. How would you describe what happened to you?
Terrifying. Something I didn't do for something. I was being like, I felt like I was being kidnapped, bro, because they didn't tell me anything at the beginning. Yeah, I work in Tucson.
What do you do?
GLS, deliver packages.
Okay, do you think you might have delivered a package to Nancy Guthrie's house?
I don't know. Might have been a possibility. I don't know.
The developments come hours after the FBI was able to release this surveillance video. It shows a masked person outside Nancy Guthrie's home the night she went missing. And for the first time Tuesday, experts noticed activity on that Bitcoin wallet. It's linked to an alleged ransom note demanding millions in cryptocurrency for Nancy's safe return. Today's Show host Savannah Guthrie says her family believes their mother is still alive. Also breaking this morning, the FAA is halting all flights to and from El Paso International Airport for the next 10 days. The agency did not go into specifics, only saying it was for special security reasons. The move appears to be a surprise to state and local officials. It went into effect around 11:30 p.m. Tuesday and will remain in effect until 11:30 p.m. on February 20th.
All right, some major developments here at home where body cam video has been released in a Border Patrol agent's shooting of a Chicago woman. Saquon is live with the latest developments in this situation. Say.
Hey, good morning to you guys. Yeah, this evidence is going to become the center of a new civil lawsuit that Miramar Martinez is expected to announce today. But really, this evidence gives us a better idea of just what happened in the moments leading up to the shooting, and it gives us a better idea of the conversations that these federal agents were having afterwards.
All right, it's time to get aggressive and get out because they're trying to box us in.
Watch out. We're going to make contact and we're boxed in.
We are boxed in.
Out of here.
All right, they're following now. Fuck it. All right, out of the car.
Be advised, we've been struck. We've been struck.
Get out.
So what you're looking at here is that body cam video from the morning of October 4th, the day Miramar Martinez was shot 5 times in the Brighton Park neighborhood. The federal agent who fired those shots is Charles Exum. Now, according to Homeland Security, Martinez rammed into the car that Exum and other federal agents were in, but attorneys for Martinez have continued to say this video shows otherwise. When you really break it down here, guys, this video shows Agent Exum, who is driving, turning the steering wheel to the left and hitting a car before getting out and opening fire. Now, a judge ruled in favor of Miramar Martinez just last week, allowing the release of this evidence. Martinez and her attorneys say getting this out into the public is a huge step for them so that she can protect her image and reputation. Once again, this evidence will be a big focus and a big step moving forward here for Miramar Martinez. We know her and her attorneys are expected to announce that civil lawsuit at 11:30 today. Back to you guys.
All right, so say to clarify, the agent's version is that she struck them You're saying that according to the attorneys, this video shows otherwise, that it was the agent who deliberately turned the steering wheel and hit her. Is that right?
That is correct, yes. And we will have to see, obviously what DHS officials are going to say to this. They have not yet commented on this matter, especially with that evidence being released just yesterday. So we'll have to wait and see what that announcement is from them as well.
Well, we know that there's more evidence that was released, some of it involving Greg Bovino. How is he involved in this newly released evidence? Can you share?
Yeah, absolutely. Greg Bovino, of course, is the Border Patrol commander. Really, he's been the face of these immigration operations in Chicago, but also all across the country. We actually have obtained some emails that Greg Bovino had sent Agent Exum. Once again, that is the federal agent who shot Martinez. So in this email, and I won't get into all of it, I know it's a little bit hard to see right now, but basically, he sent this email just hours after Exum was involved in this shooting. He said in that email, basically applauding his actions, saying, quote, "Excellent service in Chicago." Bovino even offered to extend Exum's retirement age past 57. As you mentioned, there are lots of things that were released, of course, as part of this evidence, including other text messages as well, received and sent by Agent Exum. So this is really just part of this investigation. Once again, this could be a huge focus for Miramar Martinez as she tries to get that civil lawsuit played out. So we'll have to see what really happens here. And once again, we're still waiting to hear from DHS on this.
Okay, Save, thanks for that update. Keep us posted. We appreciate it. On a somewhat related note here, Broadview police are preparing for a student protest outside of the ICE facility that's there. According to the mayor's office, students at Proviso East, Proviso West, and the Proviso Math and Science Academy all plan to walk out of class around 11 a.m. Mayor Katrina Thompson has asked these students to hold their demonstrations on school grounds and not leave. However, officers down there say that they are prepared for otherwise.
And taking a live look outside, time for another check of your forecast. Anthony, that sun, it's just lighting up all of Chicago.
I know.
Did you notice how good of a mood people were in yesterday?
Yes. No, I was in a way better mood.
I was in a fabulous mood. Mike
It's amazing how Mother Nature can control our heartstrings like that, Mike.
Well, there was a certain degree of cabin fever, I think, during January.
True.
It was just so cold, and now it's like an epiphany. The sun is out, it's warmer. It's still chilly out there this morning, so don't leave home without a coat. But we are eating into the snowpack. In fact, I want to show you the snow cover map. I showed this a couple of days ago, and there was definitely more snow on the ground. There's still some where you see the darker blue parts of Michiana. The snowpack is a little bit deeper, but what we're looking at now is maybe an inch or two left on the ground in parts of the area. This is going to be history in the next couple of days. Of course, the big plowed piles are going to take longer to melt, but they too will be eroded in coming days. Today, 42 degrees for the high, northwest winds at light speeds 5 to 15, and with all that sunshine out there, yeah, it's not going to be as warm as yesterday, but 42 on February 11th, take it and don't complain. Check out this 7-day forecast, though. Today and tomorrow, technically the two coldest days of the week. But look what comes up here this weekend. 50 on Friday, 52 for Valentine's Day and the day after that. And then we get some real warmth in here. 58 degrees on Tuesday. There could be a couple of days next week where we break that 60-degree mark. There's simply no Arctic air in sight, no snow in sight. A welcome reprieve, at least in my opinion. And I think a lot of viewers also from the winter that seemed to be endless in much of December and January. Back to you.
All right, Mike, thank you so much, sir. Appreciate it. Still ahead for us. We're going to be live in Arizona with those major developments in Nancy Guthrie's disappearance. We're getting what answers we do know to some of our questions. That's coming up next.
local.
Welcome back. Major developments overnight in the search for Nancy Guthrie, now in its 11th day. The FBI releasing this new video from before her disappearance. And this morning, police say they have released the person they detained in connection with the investigation.
Caroline Elliott joins us live in Tucson, Arizona with the very latest developments. Caroline?
Yeah, Anthony, Gabriella, we're seeing a lot of different activity in the Tucson area overnight. But as you mentioned, the latest we have from police is that they have detained and then released a person in connection to the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. We know our team talked with that person who was detained. They said that again, police took him in, they took his phone, and then they were asking him all different kind of questions, asking him where he had been, asking him questions about Nancy Guthrie, and he told police he did not know anything, and he wasn't even sure if he had ever been to the property. So again, as of this morning, it appears at least that investigators do not have a suspect or a person of interest in this case. And as of now, detectives are just looking at thousands of tips that are coming in.
You know, Caroline, authorities, they released that picture, video of the masked person at Nancy's door. We were kind of under the impression that no video existed after police, they seemed to say so, that nothing was there. And now we see this. What do you know about this new release?
By law enforcement. There are multiple ones that we don't even know are going on.
So again, our audio is taking a couple hits right now, but I do believe you were asking about that surveillance video.
Yes.
The FBI pushed today, and stunning new images we are seeing for the first time showing someone standing on the front porch of Nancy Guthrie's home. You can see in that video someone standing there wearing a mask, wearing gloves, and it appears they even have a gun. So again, the police now asking everyone to take a closer look at this video. They're hoping someone can maybe look at that person's eyebrows, look at eye shape, maybe height or weight, and be able to point out that person to police. Again, the family really counting on the public right now for any kind of help.
All right, Caroline Elliott, thank you for that update from Tucson, Arizona. Yeah, she's right. It's the eyes and the shape of the eyebrows that are pretty unique in that video. They're pretty
body
visible.
language.
For sure. All right, so we'll keep you posted on any developments there. Okay, it is 7:19. We do want to check in with Mike Kaplan as we enjoy the rise of the sun this Wednesday morning. Is it going to be pretty nice out there?
That looks.
That's beautiful. This is almost like Tatooine, though. You see the second sun.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
All right, first of all, that's not a sundog over there. There are no clouds in the sky, what you got here. A lot of times people will take pictures, and I see them online. Some of you will ask me, what's going on there? This is simply a reflection. When you point a camera, any lens, directly at a bright point of light, you get some reflections in there, and that's what we're seeing there. There's only one sun, but you're going to see plenty of it today. It is a chilly morning, though, with temperatures that are still a little bit warmer than normal, but you still want that coat. It is still February, after all, so even a warmer than normal day, we'll still have some chilly temperatures. 26 at Midway, Joliet, and O'Hare, Woodstock 24, 23 at DeKalb, Valpo 26, and in Benton Harbor it is 31 degrees. I think today we're safely in the 40s, almost area-wide. Downwind of the lake, places like perhaps Chesterton, Michigan City, you may stay in the upper 30s. But I think in general, our computer model's a touch too low there and also here. I think it'll be in the low 40s, even in Lake and McHenry County. I'm going to go with the 42 for the official high today. And this, tied with tomorrow, are the two, quote-unquote, coldest days of the lot here for at least the next week, and I think beyond. 42 today and tomorrow, 50 on Friday, 52 on Valentine's Day and the 15th and the 16th. And by next Tuesday, we're looking at upper 50s here, and I still think we have a reasonable shot of getting at least one 60-degree day in here next week. Unseasonable warmth on the way. All right, I know we're following this train derailment. Anthony, what is the latest there? I know we talked to the folks from Metra, and they aren't really too sure how long this is going to take.
No, the scale of this thing, we're still trying to make sense out of it as we take a look from Sky Fox over the scene there. Look at all those cars that have just toppled over that other set of tracks. Again, this is in Chicago Ridge. And the commuters that are going to be most affected by this, anyone who takes the Southwest service line from Metra, you are out of luck this morning. Don't even bother. You're going to need to find alternative transportation into the city. The Metra spokesperson suggested maybe going with an Uber or Lyft to a different line and trying to take a train into the city. Traffic is also snarled in and around Chicago Ridge and Oak Lawn. There are a couple of roadways, including Ridgeland and Central Avenue, portions of which are completely shut down. So be aware of that situation. No time frame on the cleanup. We know that there's no hazardous materials involved, so that is a good thing. And no one was injured as far as we know, so that's another positive development there. We'll keep you posted as we take a look at our other drive times. Really stacking up out there. You're almost an hour on both the Kennedy and the Eisenhower inbound. Also, the Stevenson is a 47-minute ride inbound from I-355 to Lakeshore Drive. Things stacking up as well in the Dan Ryan, 95th to downtown. You were at 34 minutes. We will be right back.
Got junk.
Welcome back. A man has been charged after allegedly grabbing a minor in Palatine, injuring that child. Police say it happened Monday morning just a block away from the Palatine train station. 26-year-old Kierv Williams is facing multiple charges now, including aggravated kidnapping. The young girl suffered minor injuries. A family in Valparaiso is getting ready to sue the school district over injuries that allegedly happened during their son's football practice.
Medical records from the family showed he had a broken wrist and a concussion. The father, Jason Solomon, claims the high school was negligent. He says no one contacted him that night about any of his son's injuries. He said he only found out about it after his son texted him. He went into the gym himself to search for his son. He found him with an ice bag on his wrist.
And I looked at him, I says, buddy, are you okay? And he's like, Dad, I think it's broke. And they're like, no, it's a sprain. I finally got him into the car, and then as I was pulling out, he just went forward. His neck went forward, his eyes, he's having a hard time keeping his eyes open.
Against their wishes, he took his son to St. Mary's Medical Center, where medical records confirmed his injuries. Valparaiso Community Schools Superintendent Dr. Jim McCall disputed some of the claims, specifically that no one witnessed or reported an injury during practice. He says the coach was not aware of the boy's injuries until practice was over, then notified the athletic trainer. 7:26, Mike, what you got?
I have more warmth in this forecast today and tomorrow, only in the low 40s. I know you want more. How about a whole bunch of 50s on the way and maybe even some 60s? I've got the full forecast coming up, so you look at our satellite dishes communicating with the planet Zeptar.
Download today.
Okay, welcome back. 7:29. Look at that derailment. It has happened in Chicago Ridge. You will need to find another way in and out of the city right now. A freight train derailment has shut down Metra's Southwest service line. Roseanne is going to give us a live report from the ground in just a few seconds.
Police in Arizona have released a man who was held for questioning in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. The FBI released video taken from the Nest camera on her porch the night she disappeared. Originally, the Fed said that those videos had been lost.
People in Arlington Heights will be holding a Bears rally today. The event is being called Springfield Kickoff. Bring the Bears to Arlington Heights. This is happening at the Doubletree Arlington Heights Hotel. It is being put together by the group that calls itself Touchdown Arlington. That is a coalition of business owners who support the Bears coming there. Okay, there are major problems for Metra going to and from the southwest suburbs this morning.
And the video is pretty shocking. A train derailment has caused all rail service to be suspended around that area. Roseanne is live there with more. Good morning, Roseanne.
Yes, good morning. We are just a little west of that accident at the Chicago Ridge station, which of course is shut down. But let's show you from ground level what we see from here. And you can see that train, which is actually on a track that crosses these tracks, derailed. You can see the derailed train right there. Air Fox is over that incident, which happened at about 4:45 this morning. And this is between Ridgeland and Central. You can see Ridgeland in the foreground, Central on the other side there. There are no injuries reported at this point. There's no danger to the public, no chemicals, nothing like that. But definitely expect delays. Martha Hill from Metra says that the Chicago Ridge station shut down, service suspended. Here's what she had to say this morning.
But for right now, we are asking all our riders to either, drive to another Metro line, whether that's the Heritage Corridor or the Rock Island, and take those trains into the city. Obviously, we need to make sure that if we do open up another track and start moving trains at restricted speed, we need to make sure that it is safe. So for right now, even though we really want to get our commuters to where they need to go, we need to stand back, let the team assess the situation, let us know what's safe, and as soon as we can start moving passengers, we will do so.
Right. Hill saying that it will definitely be at least a couple of hours, but this could affect the evening rush. This is a long train, 9,000 feet long. You've mentioned that. That's about a half a mile. I have a Metro rider. We've seen many cars come and go. A lot of people, we're the first to tell them. But did you hear this on the radio, Kathy?
We did not. On our way in, we noticed that the helicopters were up, and I was kind of looking, and then I noticed some the police squads, the lights and stuff like that. So we thought it was a freight train issue, and then coming here when we saw you kind of coming out of your car, we thought something was up. So, I take this train all the time. That's always a crossing issue with the freight train. So,
have there ever been derailments here?
Not that I know of, and I've been taking this for years.
Right. Yeah, this one seems pretty major. You may be out of luck. What's your plan B?
Plan B is working remote, so I'm grateful.
Okay, yeah, that's not so bad. Well, we're trying to get the word out to all of the people who are pulling up like Kathy here, but they do have a recorded message. You'll probably hear it before, during one of my live shots, telling people, making everybody aware that there is a derailment ahead and that the station is closed. And of course, there are signs. Right now we're directly under it, but it tells everybody that trains are canceled. And again, this is going to be, impacting a lot of people this morning and for at least the next few hours. Back to you in the station.
Okay, well, Kathy's day is turning out okay, but remember to use Rock Island or Heritage Corridor as alternates as well, everyone at home, if you still need to take Metra. Thank you, Roseanne, for that report. Sad story here. There's new details starting to emerge about the death of an 8-year-old boy in Round Lake Beach. Brian is here with some more details.
Well, the daycare director who once cared for the 8-year-old found dead in Round Lake Beach says that she did try to warn DCFS about some of her concerns. She says the 8-year-old Markel Pierce was always hungry, often eating 3 to 4 times a day. She also noted patches of missing hair on the back of his head. The boy was found unresponsive inside of his home last Friday. The daycare director also says that someone contacted DCFS with concerns and that she also contacted DCFS.
We have very good portions for snack. They'd have first, then they'd have seconds, then they might ask for thirds. One of the red flags was that as they were leaving, he had another snack. Mom grabbed it out of his hand and threw it on the table and said, "Don't act like you're not fed." And then he kind of, dropped his head down and just walked down the hallway with her.
She says 3 days after she spoke with DCFS, Markel and his sister were abruptly taken out of the daycare. Markel's mother and her boyfriend are both charged with first-degree murder and child endangerment. All right, time is now 7:35. Taking a live look outside. Already starting to see some sun shining out there, Mike.
Plenty of it on the way, too, Brian. You're going to see uninterrupted sun today. In fact, plenty of sunshine across the board in this forecast. Yeah, there'll be a couple of clouds from time to time, but we have no snow in sight. About the only complaint I think you could reasonably have for pet owners, muddy paws alert. Yeah, all that snow melting. They're turning into kind of a quagmire out there in a lot of yards, so watch out for that. The big melt is on. No end in sight to above normal temperatures beyond a week. And we have a chance of getting to 60 degrees next week. No precipitation expected for at least the next week. 26 in O'Hare. Sky's perfectly clear. We have a west wind at about 6 miles per hour, so the wind chill upper teens to around 20. Not too terrible. And this is some of the coldest air we'll have for the next week. 26 at O'Hare and Midway. 23 at Woodstock. 27 at Gary. Michigan City, it is 30 degrees. And in LaSalle, Peru, it's 25. 42 for the high today. Not as warm as yesterday, but this is still well above normal for Feb 11. Northwest winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Total sunshine on the way. Then tonight, clear to partly cloudy with a low of 25. Not much wind out there. And we will see just kind of seasonably chilly temperatures. Not far from where we are now. Another 42 on tap tomorrow. And then it gets even warmer. This time of year, mid-30s would be a normal high, just for a point of reference. 50 Friday, Valentine's Day, 52, same on Sunday and Monday. Oh, and then it gets really warm, 58 degrees on Tuesday. I think a couple of days next week, we can tag that 60-degree mark. Wow. All right, let's take a look at some photos. How about John Starzyk's shot here? Afternoon cloud, a little bit of alto cumulus rolling through there. These are often referred to as billow clouds. And if you think, that almost looks like waves, that is exactly right. And that is what causes that action in the atmosphere. The up and down movement creates areas of condensation and where it dries out. And that's why you see those cloud streets, as they're called. John, good picture there. All right, we have international viewers. Birkir Orn sent in this photo from Iceland where the northern lights were raging. And BK is watching us. I'm going to take a stab at this town now. Hvalsvöllur. How'd I do on that? That is in southern Iceland. We've got a lava field there and beautiful views of the northern lights. BK, thanks for sharing that picture with us. And here's another pretty picture off of my Facebook, folks. Derek Helton works out there at O'Hare. Sun was going down yesterday. He sent me that picture. You see the control tower, flight 853. I don't know what flight number that is. I know they're not going to El Paso today, apparently. If you haven't heard, they've shut down the airspace there. But that's a beautiful sunset. Derek, thank you for sharing that photo. It is time to show now Ollie enjoying a morning walk through the Greenbelt Forest Reserve. Kathy Breen taking us there under a partly cloudy sky. Still quite a bit of snow on the ground there, but I bet you Ollie is going to be coming back with the muddy paws here with future walks on the way. 7:39 on this glorious sunny Wednesday. We'll be right back.
1-minute oil change.
Okay, could a new out-of-state suitor for the Chicago Bears be throwing their hat in the ring to be the new home of the team? And how far are Indiana state lawmakers willing to go to roll out the red carpet for the Chicago Bears? This morning, we are joined by State Rep Earl Harris of East Chicago, Indiana, to break some of these possibilities down. Mr. Harris, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I always appreciate your time.
No, thank you for having me. Appreciate the opportunity to be with you.
Okay, so to start out, Portage, Indiana, we have just learned this week plans to pitch what it is calling Hallis Harbor today. What do you know about this?
Yeah, I was informed about that recently. So, it's one of those where why not? I mean, I think almost every city in Northwest Indiana has talked about this over the past months. So why not shoot your shot if you're Portage? So I really don't blame them for getting in the game and taking the shot at this opportunity.
All right. So along with Portage, we have Gary, Indiana. What does Gary, Indiana offer the team?
Yeah, there are 3 locations that have been talked about in Gary, near Hard Rock, where there will also be a convention center going there. There's space there on the lakefront. In the Miller Beach area, and then near the airport. So there's been 3 locations talked about in Gary, and Gary, actually, the Mayor Melton came up with a plan that was released a couple of weeks ago.
The renderings are beautiful, and we just reported that the Bears are actually close to reaching a deal with Illinois lawmakers to provide more property tax certainty for the team. How far are you and your fellow Indiana lawmakers willing to go to make an Indiana deal happen?
Indiana is very good at this. When you look at what we've done in the past with the Pacers, the Colts, the Speedway, we're very good when you talk about sports coming to the state. So we have Senate Bill 27, which really sets up the structure in terms of the stadium, in terms of purchases, leases, construction, all of that. So that's a bill that is in Ways and Means, which I'm a member of that committee, and ready to go next week. So we're waiting and looking for finalization of the Bears coming over to Northwest Indiana.
Okay, what do you have to tell us about the economic impact or the potential economic impact of a move by the Chicago Bears to the state of Indiana?
It will be great for Northwest Indiana and the state as a whole. When you talk about the building up of a stadium, practice field, headquarters, mixed use, so there's going to be a lot of union trades work that will happen there, and then the permanent jobs that will happen in running all of this. So it's going to be great economic. It will give our young people an opportunity to stay in Northwest Indiana and not necessarily have to think about leaving. And it'll bring more interest into Northwest Indiana with what we have right now in terms of casinos, the airport, our proximity to Chicago, even drawing in when you talk about Southland and Chicago, Northwest Indiana and Southland and Chicago kind of blend in. So there's a lot of business opportunity still there for Chicago when the Bears come to Northwest Indiana.
You mentioned State Bill 27. Can you give us an idea of how the conversations or what the conversations are like? I know that Democrats and Republicans in many areas these days do not get on the same page. What are the conversations like in the Indiana General Assembly with regard to this possibility?
That conversation of R&D has not been a problem. Republicans and Democrats have been on this. Speaker Houston came up to Northwest Indiana on Thursday and Friday to talk with local people in terms of Lake County and Porter County. Everything went well. So this is one of those where it doesn't matter if you have an R or a D behind your name. Everyone's all in on making this happen.
Okay, yeah, a lot of suitors going after the Bears. Thank you so much for your time. State Rep Earl Harris of East Chicago, Indiana. Good to see you, sir.
You too. Thanks for the opportunity.
All right, 7:45 here in Chicago on this side of the state line. Here's a quick look at what is coming up on Good Day Chicago during our 8 and 9 o'clock hours. We hope you keep it here and that you're having a great Wednesday morning.
Download today.
7:49 on your Wednesday, and we see that sun peeking through here at Lake in Michigan, right next to the Fox Studios. Mike Kaplan is here for a weather update. It looks like less big old jackets that I'm seeing on people as they walk around.
Yeah, you know, it is still chilly out there this morning, but temperatures are going to warm up into the 40s this afternoon. And we have even warmer air on the way. Yesterday was so delightful, though. Flirted with 50, and some spots did hit 50 degrees. You can see where there is still ice, though, on the lake. A lot of it has been pushed a little bit offshore. There's some pancake ice close to shore, but we're going to be in the melting mode here, I think, for at least the next week and a half and probably beyond. There's no sign of any Arctic air anytime soon. Currently, though, mainly mid and upper 20s. Woodstock a little colder, 23. Likewise at DeKalb, 25 at Morris and LaSalle. Kankakee, Chicago Heights with 27. Looks like Michigan City and Benton Harbor, a couple of the warmer spots, 30 and 31 respectively. In the city, mid to upper 20s right now. We're going to hit 42 today for the official high. Yesterday we made up to 49, so it won't be quite as warm, but that's still good 7-8 degrees warmer than normal. Northwest winds at a tame speed, so when you're outside, you're not going to say, oh, this is great, except it's too windy. And bright sunshine all day. Take it and enjoy it. And there's a lot of sun in this entire forecast. February can be a cloudy month. Look at that. And look at these temperatures. 50 plus Friday, right on in through, I think, most of next week. In a couple of these days, we may be 60 degrees or beyond. Valentine's Day, almost perfect with plenty of sunshine and a high temperature of 52 degrees. Coming up on 9 minutes before 8 o'clock. Sunshine all day long. We'll be right back after this.
Welcome back. A grand jury refuses to charge 6 lawmakers over a video that President Trump accused of being seditious. The Department of Justice opened an investigation into that video, which featured several Democrats telling members of the military it was their duty to refuse illegal orders. Grand jurors in Washington declined to approve the prosecutor's charges yesterday. Moderna says the FDA is refusing to consider its application for a new flu vaccine. It says the FDA objected to how it conducted its clinical trial trial of the vaccine, which uses mRNA. That genetic technology has come under scrutiny by Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Moderna requested an urgent meeting with the FDA, saying the agency did not identify any safety or efficiency concerns with the vaccine.
All right, switching gears a little bit here. Someone in California may be looking for their cat this morning. In San Bernardino, a cat was seen jumping from a burning building, running away. Cat took off right there. People say the cat is fine, physically fine. However, a firefighter was hurt in that firefight. Cause of the fire isn't known. And you might remember something like that happened right here back in 2021. A cat named Hennessy jumped right out of a 5th floor apartment that was on fire.
Whoa.
Look at that skill right there. They land on their feet and they just bounce away. Yeah, the incident there happened in Englewood. Cat landed on its paws, took off. We never found out if Hennessy was ever reunited with his owner.
Did Hennessy have a little liquid courage there?
Maybe.
With some Hennessy?
Maybe.
No, in all seriousness.
Pretty impressive.
Those cats are pretty brave.
They're
wow.
pretty impressive,
They escaped,
yeah.
though. All right, plenty more Good Day Chicago ahead. Keep it right here. Well, if you're thinking about a career change, maybe it's not in real estate. The National Association of Realtors says there's 30% more realtors than there are homes for sale. Last year, more than 923,000 realtors never closed on any sales. About 1 million people were working as realtors in 2025.
Wow. Okay. That's almost 1 million folks.
Crazy.
Okay. A lot of people watch Super Bowl 60, just not quite as many as the previous year. The game averaged about 124 million people, which is 2% less than last year's game on Fox.
There's a reason.
Yeah, there it is right there. The halftime show with Bad Bunny averaged more than 128 million viewers. So there was a little bit of a spike there. The most watched broadcast of all time was the Apollo 11 moon landing. Mike Kaplan remembers where he was, and the rest of the top 20, with the exception of the MASH finale back in 1983, have been Super Bowls.
Interesting.
All right, you can bet that nearly everyone in Seattle was watching that game. And you can also bet most of them are not going to work today. Yeah, the Seahawks have their victory parade a little bit later this afternoon.
All right, good for them.
Good for them.
People who owe a lot of back child support could be stripped of their passport. The Trump administration is stepping up the enforcement of a 1996